Log 1. Testing. Testing? Alright, looks like it's good to go. I knew I should have gotten more than just a tape recorder out in the backwoods. Oh well. I had always believed in the paranormal. I mean, it was hard not to where I live. Upstate New York was a hot spot for activity, not only because the eastern shores of the soon-to-be United States were the first places the Brits settled in the New World, but the Native Americans, the Iroquois to be exact, were prominent throughout the region long before we came with gold coins and steel bayonets. That's beside the point of this log, though. My name's Dalton. Barry Dalton, to be exact. Would have tried to go for a doctor, Barry Dalton, but unfortunately my expertise is by no means orthodox doctoral study. Supernatural enthusiast, paranormal hunter, researcher, and eventual creator of a vast array of sigils and spells that are known only by me, of course, through my research. And I'm probably the guy your parents would tell you to stay away from in town square. I get that last part, though, because I can definitely look like a kook at times, but again, that's besides the point. This log's a little side project of mine, second after my research, of course. Figured while I'm traveling and completing said research, I may as well document it. After all, I would need the proof of myself being the main gatherer of such findings once I brought it forth to the government, if I do. I remember the day the veil shattered. The day when our world and, well, the other one, bridged together, combining the logical and the fantastical. It was rainy in Syracuse. It was dark and gloomy. I was busy typing away on my computer in an office job when suddenly an odd feeling came over me, and I mean an odd one. Like the knots you get in your stomach when you know you're coming home to your parents in a bad report card. Kinda odd. I knew something was wrong, but then again something was always wrong for me. I'm by no means saying I'm a psychic or something, but when you visit supposedly haunted locations for years for proof of the paranormal, you tend to get a little, attuned to certain feelings. I knew my place wasn't haunted since I damn well wouldn't be sleeping there if it was, so I just assumed it was a passing feeling. Then I remembered I hadn't taken the trash out, and the garbage truck came in half an hour. That's what it was, I thought. That feeling was me being a forgetful nonce, as I usually am. Ran to my garbage and heaved the trash can onto the two wheels and wheeled it out to the street. Then I got a feeling again, a different feeling. This time all the hairs in my body stood up at once. Didn't pay much attention to it at first, though. That was always a normal reaction in a colder climate like Syracuse, but suddenly a familiar voice called out to me. It was a voice that made me stop and turn my head. I turned around. My housemate was struggling to open the mailbox, a common problem we had had. I still need to get that damned thing fixed. She was asking me for help with it. She always did, since she had about as good a memory as I did when it came to things like which side the mailbox's latch is caught on. It was almost from a comedy seeing her getting so frustrated over such a mundane problem. At least, it would have been funny if I wasn't backing up towards my house in a panic. I shut the door and locked it. My fist still clenched the doorknob as I peered out of the window to look. Sometimes I still clench my hand remembering that day. My housemate died almost 6 months ago. She wasn't there when I looked, of course, but somehow I felt a familiar energy. I cursed myself since it had only been a few weeks since I had finally gotten over what had happened. I marched up my stairs to my computer and tried to forget it, but that damned feeling wouldn't go away. Hell, sometimes I still get that feeling out of nowhere, though I haven't seen her since, and thank God for that. Something's definitely wrong, I had told myself. I went on the social media, checking the people I followed, trying to forget it all, when suddenly other things caught my eye. All across the world, sightings and experiences exploded. I was dumbfounded by it all, considering obviously people who actually believed in this stuff were usually laughed at least the people who believed in some of the more outrageous things. I had always believed in ghosts and aliens and the normal stuff, but I mean, hoop snake? Really? Bat squatch? Now, after my years of research have been proven fact, I liquidated most of my assets, to the point my house's furniture now consists of a table, a chair, and a bed. And now I'm on the road. Spent a few weeks plotting out every single sighting, at least in the United States, and of course I made a map out of that, and now I'm on my way to visit as many as I can. More local spots first, of course. Whiskey Hollow Road, Split Rock Munitions Plant. Someday soon, I imagine, I'll be going farther and farther out. Hell, maybe I'll reach Stardust Ranch by the end of the year. An odd case, that one. I've also noticed that with the breaking of this veil came a new form of excitement. You remember those sigils I mentioned earlier? Well, I'll be damned if they work. Defense, offense, the whole shebang. Magic is alive and well in this new age, it seems. Here I was starting to think I was an actual loon, and then bam. One of my sigils trapped a frickin' forest ghost, and now it can't leave. I'll be sure to check back there after some pit stops to see if it's still there. As if it's a long-term or even a permanent effect, I may just have a new business venture in this cruel new world of terror. Oh. Whoever or whatever did this is obviously powerful, probably even ancient. Maybe it just gave way after a while, but my theories don't match that assumption. My research stems from these little theories of mine, but I'll need more evidence to prove it, obviously. I was seen as a little nutty before, but some of the things I'm thinking now make me look like a complete madman without the proper evidence to support it. Whatever did this, that kind of power, I wonder if humans could achieve it. Humanity was always the top dog of the normal world, but to see all that stripped away in an instant, it's an eyesore to say the least. Perhaps that's our greatest weakness, our humanity. These beasts, these lost souls, they don't have that. Many never had that, and perhaps that's their greatest strength. Most of them don't have empathy or complex emotions. They wouldn't hesitate to... This brings me to my other hypothesis. With the rise of these creatures, there comes those who see it in their power to control them. These people gave me some ideas. It's one thing to control their actions, but with that comes the problems of eventual disobedience, of the creature not following exact orders, and of course the great effort taken for their proper care lest they rebel or weaken. Now that I think about it, it's with all these problems that these sigils of mine could also help. I mean, total control over these monsters would pave a way for an entire new age. Militaries, hunters, schools, zoos, all areas where such control over these beasts would flourish. For research, for entertainment, or for conflict. And, of course, there comes the use of my sigils to do such a thing, something only I would have the key to, seeing as this is a result of years of my research those damned fools once called crazy, research that got me banned from institutions countrywide for being pseudoscience. You're getting ahead of yourself again, Dalton. Experimentation is required for all that. Anyways, you need a lot of ghosts, ghouls, and monsters and crap in order to prove all the sigils work. But, ethically, some of these sigils probably shouldn't be tested. I mean, who's gonna care about the ethical means of dealing with a Wendigo, right? If anything, I'd be considered a hero for dealing with one of the new most dangerous creatures on the planet. I mean, just last week I watched old Greeny in Cayuga Lake swallow half a flock of geese whole in one swoop. Poor things. Alright, yeah. I'll experiment with all my sigils then. What's the worst that can happen? A couple aliens get incinerated, eternal damnation for a lost soul. Shouldn't have been haunting the place, I say. Jesus, I rambled off again. Anyways, this is Barry Dalton. And I suppose this is the end of Log 1. My first location should be recorded within the next couple of days. I do have my tome of sigils I made myself with me, and I can't even choose which one to test first yet. I suppose I should start with the protection one. I don't want to eradicate the phenomenon from local hotspots. That'd defeat the point of me being a repeat visitor, after all. Anyways, that's all for now, so I suppose to whoever's listens to this, have a safe day, and try not to get mauled by a Sasquatch in your backyard. Bye, I guess. Maybe I'll bookmark the page for the Hell Portal sigil. Maybe even the mind-controlling one, just in case. Imagine if I could control a Wendigo or an alien. I would be unstoppable. Ah, damn, my recorder's still rolling. No wonder they call me Butterfingers.